Hello, and welcome back to Literally Who Cares. I'm your host, Alexis Bijor, and this is a podcast where you come to learn how to live as the best version of yourself. Here, you'll discover all the tips and resources you need to start living the life of your dreams. It is a cloudy little day out. That's why I'm nice and cozy right now. It might start raining. So if you hear anything in the background, my co-host is taking a nap. So it's just a very cozy, sleepy day. So my brain is a little foggy. But let's start the episode. Last week, we talked about overcoming the fear of judgment. This week, we are talking about creating boundaries, which is, I am a boundary queen. So I'm very excited to talk about this one. So let's jump right into it. What are boundaries? In the context of self-improvement, boundaries are limits and rules you set for yourself to protect your physical, emotional, and mental well-being, ensuring you're not overextending yourself and are treated with respect. Setting personal boundaries is crucial for fostering healthy relationships and protecting your time and energy by establishing those limits and expectations. Physical boundaries relate to personal space, body, and privacy, while emotional boundaries concern the level of emotional sharing and responsibility for feelings, and mental boundaries focus on protecting thoughts and beliefs. There are different types of boundaries. We kind of went over that already. We have physical boundaries, which are personal space, touch, and privacy. Emotional boundaries, which are respect for feelings and emotions. Time boundaries, allocating time for personal versus professional life. Material boundaries, ownership and sharing of possessions. Mental boundaries, which are beliefs, values, and opinions. So in today's episode, we are going to be talking about physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, and mental boundaries. All these boundaries are important, and you can make space for all of them, but those are just the ones that we will be covering as they pertain to self-improvement and growth. So we're going to be going over those. So now that we've talked about what boundaries are and the different types of boundaries, we're going to talk about why boundaries matter. Boundaries are important because they help us establish what is and isn't acceptable in interactions, preventing burnout, resentment, and allow for personal growth. Healthy relationships. Boundaries matter for healthy relationships. In healthy relationships, there's mutual respect. Boundaries signal to others how you expect to be treated, fostering respect and trust. Within a healthy relationship, you can also create boundaries of clear communication. Within a healthy relationship, communication is really important. So boundaries help establish clear expectations and limits, leading to smoother and more fulfilling interactions. Boundaries can help you prevent exploitation. They protect you from being taken advantage of or used by others. Boundaries also help build trust. When people know your boundaries, they are more likely to trust you and your decisions. That's very interesting. So in healthy relationships, we have healthy boundaries, and it's really important to communicate those up front. Don't dance around the subject. Don't be passive aggressive. This is my boundary. Here's the line. Don't cross it. Period. End of conversation. But it builds trust. It builds trust between you and your partner, or you and your friend, or you and your family, any type of relationship, because that person knows this makes you uncomfortable, this doesn't, whatever it may be. And so they then have more trust in you because they have a better understanding of you, how you think, how you feel, your emotions. We're not tiptoeing on eggshells. We know exactly how the other feels. We know where those boundaries are. We respect them. So those are the things that are really important within healthy relationships and how boundaries can help you have healthier relationships. Boundaries are also important in your personal well-being. Reducing stress and burnout. Setting boundaries helps prevent feeling overwhelmed and depleted, allowing you to prioritize your needs and well-being. They also improve self-esteem. Asserting your boundaries and saying no when necessary can boost self-confidence and self-respect. Emotional safety. Boundaries create a safe space for you to express yourself and your needs without the fear of judgment or violation. If you want to explore fear of judgment more, just did an episode on that last week, and you can check that out if you want to dive a little deeper. But we're going on to the next one. Protecting your time. Boundaries help you manage your time effectively, assuring you have enough time for what matters to you. Okay, so we have boundaries in healthy relationships. Then we have boundaries for our own personal well-being. And just protecting your time and your space, and physically and mentally. If you say, I am stopping work at this time, that's a boundary. Protect and respect your own boundaries. If you don't respect your own boundaries, nobody else is going to respect them. That's a really important thing that I learned over the past year. Set those boundaries. You let people cross them. You cross them. You're going to end up feeling like a people pleaser, or you are going to end up being a people pleaser. Set your boundaries, respect them here first. People will see, oh, they're respecting their time and their space and their money and their materials. I will respect those too. Very important. So, setting boundaries is also important when it comes to reducing conflict. Clear boundaries can help prevent misunderstandings and conflicts by establishing expectations and limits. Boundaries can also bring about self-awareness and assertiveness. Setting boundaries requires self-awareness and the ability to assert your needs, leading to personal and professional growth. Improved communication skills. Like we talked about before, communication within boundaries is really important, but it can also help you communicate better. Communicating your boundaries effectively enhances your communication skills and helps you navigate challenging situations with greater confidence. Boundaries are important because they'll help you live a healthier, more satisfying life. By taking control of your time and energy, you can increase your joy for life and overall well-being. So, like I always say, I'm not going to just give you the definitions and not help you along the way. So, we're going to talk about how to create boundaries. To create successful boundaries, identify your needs and limits. Communicate them clearly and respectfully, and be consistent in enforcing them, while also learning to say no and prioritizing your well-being. Self-reflection. So, in the process of creating boundaries, it's important to take time to reflect on your own needs and limits. So, for self-reflection, what's important to you? What do you need to feel safe, respected, and fulfilled? For my own boundaries, I got a lot of boundaries, all right? But for good reason. What's important to me? One thing that's very important to me is a good night's sleep. I love to sleep, and I love getting good sleep, and I am a kinder, more productive person when I get a good 8 hours of sleep, okay? So one of my boundaries is I go to sleep at 9 o'clock, okay? Don't call me, don't text me after 9 o'clock. That is a boundary of mine. I'm not answering. I'm going to sleep, okay? Like, that's a boundary. Don't wake me up. Don't disturb me. I'm sleeping because I need those 8 hours. If not, I'm going to be a different person in the morning, and it's not going to be one that you like. So, what's important to you? Think about that. What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel respected? What makes you feel fulfilled? Ask yourself those questions, and I'm going to challenge you to write them down. Do it. Communication. Communicate your boundaries directly and respectfully. Use I statements to express your needs and feelings. Be clear and concise. Avoid ambiguity, or vague language. Choose the right time and place. Consider the context and timing of your communication. Practice active listening. Pay attention to others' reactions and adjust your communication accordingly. Communication is really, really important when you're setting your boundaries, because there may be times where you express your feelings and your needs and your boundaries, and people are going to be very receptive to you. But in that moment, they may also feel the need to express their own boundaries. So as you bring them up, people may want to say like, okay, well, if this is your boundary, this is my boundary. So it's important to not only be open to sharing, but be open to listening. And it will create a lot more trust within your relationship, because you both know how the other feels, and hopefully you're on the same page. And if not, you may need to reevaluate and adjust. But another thing is, some people may not like your boundaries. They may be completely against your boundaries. They may push back. They may cross your boundaries just because some people are like that, and they want to see how far they can get with you. Or they want to see how far they can push you. In those moments, honestly, I would try to speak your boundaries. And if the person is pushing back, if they are against it, I would probably make a mental note and know that that person's not going to respect you or your time or your feelings or your boundaries. So it may be a wake-up call of like, hey, this person maybe shouldn't have as much access to you and to your life if they can't respect those boundaries. So be aware, communicate calmly, communicate directly, and if that communication can't be understood, it may be somewhere where you need to pull back, understand that that's your boundary, and take that person out of your life, or keep them arm's length away for your safety and for your mental well-being. The other thing that's really important in creating boundaries is consistency. Be consistent. Don't waver or make expectations to your boundaries. Follow through with consequences. If someone disregards your boundaries, take the necessary action. Don't apologize for setting boundaries. It's okay to prioritize your needs and well-being. Seek support. If you're struggling to set or enforce boundaries, consider seeking guidance from a therapist or counselor. Remember that boundaries are about self-respect and healthy relationships. They're not about being mean or controlling. That part is so important. Our co-host is back. Woohoo! Just because you are saying, I will not accept this treatment or behavior, does not mean that you are being mean. You are standing up for yourself. You are standing up for your safety, for your mental health, for your well-being. And that is important to feel safe in your environments. You're not being mean. You're not being controlling. You are just trying to live a healthier, happier life. And that's okay. And it's scary sometimes, but the peace that you'll find from it, and the new relationships that you'll make from doing that will be so worth it. Create those boundaries, self-reflect, communicate, be consistent. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is overcoming challenges. To overcome challenges when setting boundaries, it is important to have self-awareness and understand your needs. Know your values. If you don't know your values, identify them. And if you need help identifying them, I have a whole episode on identifying your values. So If you don't know your values, pause this real quick and go listen to that episode 3. Identify your core values and priorities to guide your boundary setting decisions. The next thing is listen to your body and emotions. Pay attention to how you feel when faced with boundary-related situations. Your emotions and physical sensations can provide clues about your needs. If you're not aware of the certain boundaries that you need to set, listen to your body. Your body is going to tell you, this isn't safe. This doesn't feel right. I know a lot of people say, like, listen to your gut, and I say that a lot too because it's so true. If I get into a situation where something doesn't feel right or it might not be a safe environment, my gut is like, something's not right here. I'm going to leave. I'm about to just leave the place because I'm going to listen to my gut. Same thing for boundaries. Say you feel a little uneasy when you're around somebody. That might be a context clue that we need to listen to. But yeah, listen to your body, listen to your emotions. They're there for a reason. The next thing is reflect on your limits. Understand your physical, emotional, and mental limits to better communicate them to others. There was a point in my life where I was just going and going and going and going. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm doing this. I'm saying yes to everybody because I just didn't want to be left out. And it got to the point where I was just so completely burnt out where I just completely crashed out. Not crashed out like went crazy, like crashed. I kept getting sick. I was sad. I was emotional. And it was because I was doing too much and I wasn't saying no. So I had to reflect on my own limits and understand that I can't say yes to everything. I can't be everywhere. I have to take time for myself. I have to set those boundaries and plan to rest. Put rest in your life. It's important and we need it. Understand your limits, listen to your body, and know your values. So yeah, this was a pretty quick episode, but it's really cut and dry. It's really, I guess I don't want to say common sense because it may not be, but boundaries are just so important when you are trying to grow because there are certain things that you shouldn't accept and there's certain things that you will no longer accept. So take the time to define your own boundaries. I can't really give many examples of exactly how to do that. And I know sometimes that's a little hard. I like step by step. Okay, step 1, write it down. Step 2, write it down. I'm going to do all these. When it comes to boundaries, it's really based on the person. So I can't really give you many examples of boundaries because mine are going to be very different than yours. And yours are going to be very different from the person next to you. So it's really just that self-awareness and that time spent with yourself and knowing yourself and the communication. That's really all I can say. So we're going to go into our mindful moment. A mindful moment is a special segment where we take time to hear personal stories of growth and joy shared by our audience. It's a time to celebrate experiences that shape our lives and inspire us to be better. In the absence of a mindful moment, I will share a relevant verse from the Bible that aligns with our theme of our discussion, providing a spiritual perspective that enriches our understanding and connection. I know some of my viewers may not be religious or may not relate to the story being shared, but I want you to listen with an open heart and open mind and take what resonates. This segment is designed to foster a sense of community and encouragement, offering a safe space of reflection and inspiration. So, today's mindful moment is going to be a story of my own when it comes to boundaries. So, I'm currently in a relationship, and at the beginning of any relationship, I always stand very firm on my boundaries because I think when you have certain boundaries and you're meeting somebody that you don't know, for the first time and you're inviting them into your life, it's really important to make those very clear, just to see the type of person they are, if they respect communication, if they respect boundaries, if they have similar values as you. And it really shows you how somebody thinks and how they interact with the world around them. So in the beginning of this relationship, one of my boundaries was not having people that I don't know come over to my apartment. And then it also turned to not staying the night. Again, I love my bed. I love my sleep. And it is something that's very important to me. And I know some people, especially in the first initial stages of talking to somebody, getting to know somebody, people tend to want to spend a lot of time together. I really enjoy my alone time, and that was a boundary of mine. I was like, you know what? Friday nights are my time. They're, movie night, pizza night, where I just get to have my alone time, and I'm not going to waver on that. That is a boundary of mine. It was listened to, and it was respected, and it still is respected, and it created such a healthy first step for a relationship. I just, first of all, I was proud of myself for setting that boundary, but then also staying consistent with it. Another boundary of mine was I need to spend time with my friends, just me and my friends. And that was also respected. And I just feel that I'm living such a more fulfilling life because I set those boundaries. They were then respected, and I was consistent with it. So I guess that's just kind of my example of setting certain boundaries. But you have to respect them first, like I'm going to say probably 1,000 times, before somebody else will respect them. So create those boundaries, sit with yourself, understand what makes you feel safe, respect them, and then make it clear to the people around you, you know what, these are my boundaries. Please don't come anywhere close to the line. Communicate that, and how the other person reacts is out of your control, but what's in your control is continuing to respect and value yourself, your emotions, and your feelings. So that's our mindful moment. Quick, easy, simple. And so we'll just keep going on with the going on. I would love to hear from all of you about boundaries, about values. I'd love to hear your stories. So you can visit my website. It will be in the description below. You can send me a little message. You can also just say hi. I'd love to chat. You can follow me on all my socials. My personal ones are Alexis Bijor, Instagram and TikTok. The podcast is Literally Who Cares with 3 S's on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe because these videos are going to be uploaded the week that the audio comes out. And then you can follow Walter Bean, who has again left the studio. So show him some love. We discussed boundaries in this episode. We talked about what they are, why they're important, how to create them, and ways to overcome challenges that you may face on the way. Next week, we are going to be talking about the role of community and authenticity. If you have a story you'd like to share about finding community, I would love to hear them and share them on the next episode for our mindful moment. And that's kind of all I have today. It's getting really dark outside. Thank you all for supporting and for listening. And I will talk to you next week. Love ya. Bye.